Yo, it's Monday. Oh, is that song going to play? I figured that song was going to play because it's Monday, right? That's right, Chris. Everyone smash the like button. We need 20 likes to start on a Monday. Oh my God, we need 20 likes to start talking about stuff on Monday. New rules. There's 29 of you, so that means it's only 60%. We're only requesting a 60% like ratio. Button pushers. Naturally inclined to push buttons on the internet, aka human beings. Oh my God, there must be too many bots watching. Everyone go buy the book that I posted in the chat. All in, one short. You can make a difference. Oh, we've hit our goal. What up, everybody? How you doing? It is Monday, January 17th, 2022. 22. So, good thing. We got 21 likes. Chris is wrong. It's not 8. We've got 21. We beat the 20 like goal by uno. We hit that uno. And it went, changed to whatever color. I don't know. Blue? Changed to blue. Bah. So, good job, guys and girls and ladies and gentlemen and non-binaries, all alike. I love you all. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday out there. Today is, as some of you know and some of you might not know, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Today is a day of remembrance of probably one of the most important figures in civil rights history in the United States. These United States that I live in. I live in the United States, and Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., is celebrated on this day. I was not born in King County. Wait, was I? Hold on. Let me check. I think I was Washington in County. Let's see. We got to check. Yeah, actually, I was born in King County, Washington. I was born in King County, Washington. I was not raised in King County, Washington. But I was born in King County, Washington, which is named and illustrated after the civil rights leader, Martin Luther King, if you're wondering where that is. If you've ever seen a show called Frasier, okay, Frasier was a fictitious show that was not real, that was shot in Seattle, Washington. Yes? Yes. You've seen the illustrious Kelsey Grammer in the role of Frasier, a radio doctor who was a kook. Yeah, he was a kookaloo. Which, by the way, one of the reasons I kind of bring that up is because it seems to me that characters like Frasier, the real-life characters like Frasier, of these sort of radio talk show type people, have sort of indoctrinated a lot of Americans. And the reason I say this is because the particular format of radio in these United States over the years, over many generations, starting long before Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King was assassinated, and we'll get to that in just a second. But he was assassinated 58 years ago, I think, which might be wrong. Because he would be 93 today, if he was still alive, which gives you an idea how young he was when he was assassinated. But the reason that I bring up those sort of conservative talk radio people, they've sort of indoctrinated the idea of Martin Luther King Jr. as to being this sort of one section out of one of the many speeches he gave, the I Have a Dream speech. I'm sure you guys have heard it at some point in time, where he speaks of everyone should be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That is not what all he advocated for, which is why I posted that book link, and I'll post it again. If somebody out there is like, hey, where do I start? Where do I start to learn about Martin Luther King Jr.? There is a lot of comprehensive writings of his, speeches and things that he gave. You can actually just sit down and read them, highlight them and stuff like that, and kind of realize like what it was that he was talking about and what he was advocating for. And he wasn't only just advocating for voting rights. He wasn't just advocating for a segregation to be ended. He was advocating for equality, not of outcome, equality of opportunity in the United States. And it is very specific difference. Nobody was advocating. There's basically nobody on this planet that is advocating for the equality of outcome. Nobody is advocating for that. But he literally was advocating for equality of opportunity, the ability to own homes, the ability to get a good education, the ability to go to work, to have health care, all of those things that we talk about today. You know, guys like Bernie Sanders, guess where Bernie Sanders got a lot of the things that he talks about? From Martin Luther King Jr., because he was around when a lot of that was ongoing, you know. So I wanted to start the show kind of talking about that a little bit. The fact that it has been, you know, the history of Martin Luther King has been so muddied by this idea that he just was like, hey, I hope nobody gets judged by the fact that their skin's a different color. That was not what he was all about. Adam Wing says he was also the champion of nonviolent demonstrations and peaceful protest. I would highly recommend you go read about what Martin Luther King Jr. was actually all about. That has been very specifically muddied, that he was not an advocate. Nobody was advocating for violence. Like that, it's a very fringe group of people that advocate for violence, and it's not something that he was advocating for, but he was advocating to make things uncomfortable so that some decision would have to be made. And when things started to get a little bit crazy was when it got to the point where he was advocating for housing rights and things like that, where it would actually cost people money. It would actually cost Americans money, basically, is what it boiled down to. And so I would definitely like people to definitely look into that a little bit harder and stop listening to conservative talk radio types. And Mike Pence is on that list, okay? Mike Pence is 100% on that list. So stop listening to those people. Start doing research, start learning about actual American history, and just turn off that radio. If you don't have time to read books, I highly recommend getting something like Audible, something like Audible. I'm not sponsored by Audible, but we are sponsored by Amazon. Technically, if you guys buy stuff off of Amazon, I get a small kickback. So be advised of that. But if you want to read about this kind of stuff and you don't have time to read about it, get some audiobooks and read that, and just stop listening to these opinion garbage that is being spewed out into the airwaves. You just got to cut it out. Anyhow, Joel G is here. Oh my God, his internet is on. As people are wondering what is going on in Tonga, the island of Tonga was basically enveloped with a volcanic cloud. We had however many thousands of miles away, we had tsunami warnings here. I still have a scratch in my throat. I'm still not back to normal health wise. This cold has been brutal. This cold has been a brutal cold. I got another one. I got another cold that's completely different than the one I had a little while ago. Oh, and it is bugging me. It's bugging me big time. Hold on. There we go. I'll turn my mic back on while I cough. It's making my eyes water. I'm coughing so much. Anyhow, as we move on, we're talking about Tonga now. There was a huge volcanic eruption in the ocean. I don't have enough information as to what's going on. I don't know what's going on. We'll hope to hear from. Yeah, so Joel G says they're trying to get the undersea cable working again, and the ash cloud is making it hard for satellite communications, etc. Yeah, it's just crazy, and it's really kind of nuts, man. It's kind of nuts what's going on in with that volcano, and I just don't have enough information to really say what's going on. I tried to look up some of the stuff, and it all just seems like no one really knows what's happening right now. So I don't know what's happening, but the volcano is pretty scary. And like I said, we got a bunch of tsunami warnings out here, and some big waves and stuff, but nothing too bad for us. So yeah. Fish Tropic says this guy is always sick. I feel for you, man. Yeah, I have a kid. I have a kid, and we get sick all the time. COVID's going around. Olivia had COVID. We might have had COVID. Always tested negative. Don't know if that was COVID, and then this was a cold. But Olivia went back to school. She came home with a cough. Now I have a cough. Daycare is closed because everybody got sick again. So yeah. It's a real pain. It's a real pain. I continue to do all of the things I'm supposed to be doing, I guess. I'm able to get work done. I'm able to do all the things. So it's just an ongoing struggle of being a person, being a human being in these United States. Yeah, and somebody was asking earlier in the chat. Who was asking? Tony Franzen says, is it all okay in America? Here in Sweden, the Omicron is spreading at an all-time high. It's spreading like crazy here. It's spreading like crazy here, too. And it is a nightmare. The hospitals are well over capacity in all sorts of areas. It's crazy. And like I was talking about with the talk show radio people types, these evangelical crazy people, they were saying that Omicron was sent by God and everyone should go get it. Well, here you go. This is what happens. We start to lose supply chain issues. Stores are closed. Services aren't working. Things aren't working right. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Don't catch COVID if you can afford not to. Do not go out of your way to go get it. That is a very bad idea. I do not recommend doing that. That is an awful recommendation that anybody would say that. One of the big problems with a lot of people catching a virus is that it begins to mutate into something else, which, guess what? Even if you do have relative immunity to Omicron, whatever the next variant is, you probably won't have immunity to that, So it's pretty crazy. To hear anybody advocating to catch it or anything like that. It's just absurd. It's just a level of absurdism that is just wild. And I hate to see it, and I hate to see You know, I hate to see big television channels like Fox News and stuff like, and all these places that have millions and millions of dollars to produce their content, promoting that stuff. It's really disheartening. It's really disheartening when that stuff is happening. And you know, it makes me more appreciative of the people that I have supporting this channel. And to do a quick commercial, I'm able to do YouTube content because of people that are sponsoring the channel, like Paulette, like Rommel Bynum, like Will C, who are members on the channel. Randall Bowman upped his Patreon, and thank you very much, my friend. I 100% appreciate it. I appreciate everyone else that is supporting this channel. I love that. I love that you guys are supporting this channel. I would love to be at the point where I could compete against those big networks. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm trying my best. You know, we went and checked out some properties this weekend. You know, we went to check out some properties this weekend, and you know, one of them was just such a disaster. It's unbelievable. Totally unbelievable. Donald's Fish Vibe says, I remember Joe Biden said he would shut down the virus. You know what? I'm not here to argue for or against Joe Biden. Joe Biden has done a ton of stuff. He's one guy. He's the president. A ton of stuff has happened in the last year, and if you want to turn your back on infrastructure bills, a lot of the aid that has come to the United States, half of childhood poverty has been eliminated. You know, if you want to argue that kind of stuff, become a member, call in, and let's talk about it. Otherwise, I don't want to see people like just throwing random statements out like that. But this virus isn't going to stop from one person enacting anything. It's not going to work that way. You know, a lot of people tried to do a couple week shutdowns and stuff like that, and a bunch of people refused to do it. A bunch of people refused to wear masks out in public. A bunch of people refused to get vaccinated. A lot of people refuse because of their freedoms, and it's absolutely a level of absurdism that we, at this point, that is just so stupid to even talk about. If every prediction is right, Biden is going to bite the bucket, and then we're in trouble. Yeah. They're old. We need younger leadership in America. Yes, we need younger leadership. Both of those guys are of the age of them passing away. So it's not really a real strong prediction to say that somebody 78 years old is going to die. Average lifespan for males in America is, by the way, declining, and is, I think, believe 76. Average age of death for males in America. Let's look it up. 78. Yep. And it's dropping. Oh, no. It's actually, it's getting older. Okay. I stand corrected. So from 1960. So from 1960, it's gone up. But it's not, it ain't going up like it is everywhere else. In the UK, you could expect to live to 81. Look at that. You could have 3 extra years. 3 extra years. Yeah. Let me see. Would have loved President Andrew Yang. I would not. I would not have loved President Andrew Yang. And for the main reason is that he didn't even have cabinets. He didn't have appointees. He didn't have all the people that need to run the government. He didn't have anybody behind that. He has not been around long enough to really have anything like that. No. Oh my God, a Harris Pelosi presidency? That would not be favorable. No, that would not be favorable. I think Pelosi should have retired a long time ago, but that's just me. She's a super wealthy lady that should be doing beneficial stuff with her wealth as opposed to continuing along. How old is Pelosi? Let's see. Pelosi. 81. Yep. In my opinion, she should be retired. In my opinion, Joe Biden should be retired. In my opinion, Donald Trump should be retired. They should be dealing with their own personal stuff. Let's see. How old's Mitch McConnell? 79. Should be retired. Yep. I think that in my opinion, around the 70-year mark, you should be retired from politics. I think you really should. 100%. But, the problem is, like, Andrew Yang hadn't done any politics. A lot of his policies didn't make any sense. A lot of his policies didn't make any sense. You couldn't, like, extrapolate them out. He didn't really even have any idea what he was trying to do. Even under the questioning of Cro-Magnon man Joe Rogan, he couldn't even really hang. So the reality of him being president and running, he didn't even have any idea what to do about foreign policy. His idea with foreign policy was like, I guess we'll just do whatever people tell you. In Joe Biden's opinion, he should be retired. I thank him for his sacrifice. They have age limitations on all kind of different jobs in this country because of diminished mental and physical capabilities, but they get to run the country. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my thing, is that they really should be, there should be a time when we're supposed to step down and be retired. Paula Kreinberg says, Yang endorsed a pyramid scheme, put me off. Unfortunately, like, a lot of the American politics is endorsing a pyramid scheme, realistically. The unfortunate thing is that, like, a lot of times they say that the United States government should be run like a business, and the United States government should 100% not be run like a business. It should be run like a service. Or if you really need a structure to wrap your mind around, it should be run like a nonprofit. Yeah. Really should be run like a nonprofit, is how it should be. Hey, Corvus, has your skin been really dry lately? I don't know. And I don't know why that would matter. Tulsi Gabbard is a Republican wearing a blue tie. So, no, I would not vote for Tulsi Gabbard at all. All of her policies are literally like conservative policies, except for, I guess, she wanted to legalize weed or something like that. Yeah. So, no, I would not vote for Tulsi Gabbard. And I think, in fact, she has signed up for the Republican Party since then. Tulsi Gabbard, a Republican now? I think she is. Dude. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know if she is yet. Why doesn't Tulsi become a Republican? I'm not sure. So we haven't gotten anything from this basic check here. I mean, she says she's a Democrat, but like all of her policy prescriptions and stuff like that were basically conservative Republican, but she just said she was a Democrat. I really don't think that she is. Yeah, I don't know. We don't need to just stare at stuff while we're live on the internet. But yeah, I wouldn't have voted for her though. No. I'm not voting in the main presidential U.S. election until it stops being the choice of lesser evil. I would like to address that. I would like to address that sentiment because about 120 million people didn't vote last election. Last U.S. election, non-voters. How many was it? It was like 100 million people didn't vote. More Americans voted in 2020 than any other presidential election in 120 years. Well, I guess this 3-minute NPR thing here says about 80 million people decided not to vote. 29% not registered, 23% not interested in politics, 20% not liking the candidates, a feeling their vote wouldn't have made a difference, being undecided to whom to vote for. Okay, so a lot of times people will say, I don't want to vote because I don't want to vote for the lesser of two evils. But here's the thing. As a human being, you would always choose the lesser of two evils unless you were an evil person, right? If you would choose, let's say, brain cancer versus skin cancer, right? You'd go, well, skin cancer because you could treat that. That's treatable. That's really treatable, right? Might just be inconvenience for 6 months or something like that. But brain cancer, you're going to be like our buddy Carson, who's constantly getting surgeries, and he's going through chemo and all that stuff that's happening, and it's just intense. And the outcome is scary, 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 right? You would always choose the lesser of two evils because you're a human being. And that really shouldn't even be a consideration as to like, well, they're only going to build half the roads I want them to build, so I'm just going to not vote. What would you rather no roads be built? Well, go register to vote and vote. Building half of the roads now and hopefully half of the other roads later, guess what? Eventually, at least the roads get built. Doing none of it means nothing ever happens and things only continue to get worse. So I would, some people out there are like, oh, incremental improvements are terrible. Okay, hey, man, incremental improvements are how anything ever gets done. You want to lose weight? It's going to take you incrementally walking around more, right? It's going to incrementally mean I'm not going to have cake tonight. Well, maybe you're only skipping twice a week or something, or maybe you're only working out twice a week, but you're eventually going to get to where you're in much better shape than you are now. If you don't choose for the incremental improvements, what's the point? And by the way, you got to vote for the lesser of two evils because that's the only options that exist. And so to just be choosing to abstain because, well, I'm not gonna. Well, okay, guess what? You're just choosing not to be a part of society, I guess. I don't know. It seems absurd to me. If I never vote again, that's okay. Primaries are fair game for me if there is a good candidate. Okay, well, hey, man, if you choose to not vote and Donald Trump Jr. gets elected and decides to just do whatever kind of crazy executive nonsense he wants to do, yeah, I'm not trying to discourage you from being involved in primaries. I'm not trying to discourage you from being involved in local and state elections, but the bare minimum is voting in the presidential election. Yeah. Advocating voting in local state elections. Start small. The presidential elections are screwed. Vote in all of them, but in my opinion, voting in the U.S. presidential election is the bare minimum. It's once every 4 years. Voting in local stuff is out here only twice a year, something like that. Yeah. Big D Smoke says, I voted and his daddy still got elected. Right. Not every outcome is the outcome that you would specifically want. That also is a part of life. A lot of that has to do with people that just choose to not vote. A lot of that has to do with that. And if that upsets you, then the idea would be to motivate more people to go vote. Not, oh, let's just not be involved. The truth is, I'm worried I'm worried about foreign policy. Lots of crazy autocratic societies making worrying moves, and we need a strong America to save us. The Democrats treat these crazies with kid gloves. That's completely untrue. It's completely untrue. That's a complete farcity that you've just made up and typed out into a YouTube comment. The Democrats do not treat crazies with kid gloves. Completely untrue. And do we need a strong America? Okay, then tell me how strong a strong America needs to be. Because our current war effort is more than 10 times the closest country to us. So how big does it need to be? Tell me how big it needs to be. It needs to be bigger. Does it need to be bigger than it is now? I think it's completely absurd. Because in the meantime, we're spending all these resources, right, that we could be spending doing things here. And when the rhetoric behind that is like, oh, it's got to be America first, whatever. But a big part of the problem is right now, a lot of our military money is spent, and then veterans don't even have training from being in the military that's applicable to coming over stateside. So, until stuff like that even gets addressed, then I don't think we're ever going to get anywhere. I just won't believe that people that know what they want in life and are more alike than anything besides religious beliefs, how these guys can even run to be president. They're all selected. I don't know. I'm not here to argue like conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Fish Tropic says, because Corvus, can you run for president? Yes, I can, because I'm over 35 years of age. I'm a U.S. citizen and a non-felon. So yes, I do meet the criteria. I meet the criteria of running for president in the United States. I'm a natural-born citizen, and I'm over 35 years old. I believe that's the full criteria, and be a non-felon. Full criteria to run for U.S. president. Let's check. Yep, here it is. According to Article 2, the U.S. Constitution, the president must be a natural-born citizen, check, of these United States, check, be at least 35 years old, check, and been a resident of the United States for 14 years, check. I've met all of the criteria. That is the criteria. That's it. That's all. That's the criteria. Period. End of story. That's the period, end of story. Donald's Fish Vibes says, and Corvus, not because you don't agree with me means you have the answers. I listen to them as well, but this is my position way back in Bush times. Even Clinton was stronger on foreign policy. Okay, well, I asked you a question and you didn't answer it. So it's not a matter of whether or not I have the answers or not. I asked you a question and you didn't answer them. You commented multiple times and didn't tell me how big the military is supposed to be in order to maintain peace around the world or whatever, I think is what you were trying to say, because there's crazy dictatorships doing things, or how did you put it? Autocratic societies making worrying moves, which is sort of just, let's make a blanket claim that like things are happening around the world, right? Instead of saying something specific. But my response was, how big does the U.S. military need to be in order to, deal with the thing that you were trying to prescribe there, right? And you didn't even bother to answer my question. So it's not a matter of whether or not I have answers or not. It's that you made a statement. I asked a question about the statement that you made, and you didn't even respond to it because you said, I listened to them, or where was it? Right here. Your follow-up was, truth is, I'm worried about foreign policy. Then you said, I listened to them as well, but my position way back in Bush times. And then you said, and Corvus, not because you don't agree with me means you have the answers. I don't even, what does that mean? Yeah. So I don't know. Hey, man, I think we waste way too much money on our military. I honestly think we do. Whether or not people disagree with that um, is an issue. Is an issue. But we spend. How much military do we have stationed in Germany right now? Is Germany under attack? Is that what's going on? Yeah. Sup, Libs and Fish Tropic. What's up, Patties? How you doing? Good to see you today. Wait, freaking Joe freaking Biden is U.S. president? Drop the mic. Yeah. The thing is, like, I disagree with Joe Biden on a lot of stuff, but I honestly think that they're working on a lot of generalized positivity that we're going to see in the next 4 or 5 years, and we'll see how it goes. But, being an advocate for getting vaccinated is an immediate red flag for some people, which, I don't know. Have these people researched anything? They claim to have researched stuff, but I don't see any research coming out of them. Being an advocate for, like, basic public safety policy prescriptions is important. I mean, infrastructure spending, very important. Cutting taxes for poor families in the United States, that's important. Not cutting taxes for giant corporations that don't even need it. It's the policy and the commitment to seeing it through, not by giving the Iran leaders billions in U.S. cash in the middle of the night. If you're talking about the money that Iranians got, it's their money. We stole it from them. We gave their money back. Should we steal money from people? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying that we should be stealing money from other countries? Because if you are, I got a big disagreement with that. Like, I guess you're advocating for the U.S. government to steal money from other countries. Okay, cool. Good times. Good times. Yeah, I don't know. That seems like just just, okay, I guess. Maybe you're a fan of that. I don't know. Obama. Yeah. As a candidate during the 2016 campaign, President Donald Trump criticized the international agreement to curb Iran's nuclear weapons program, formerly called the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. It had been adopted the year before. He suggested that the U.S. had returned $150 billion to Iran as part of the deal. That's not true. But the Trump has Trump has repeated the claim as recently as December. He tweeted, Trump's bogus claim has now been repeated in a meme that references the president's declaration of a national emergency to redirect funds for a proposed wall to the southern border. It's just nonsensical. Secondly, $150 billion is high, and end estimate of that. The U.S. Treasury Department estimates put the number at about $50 billion in used liquid assets, according to 2015 testimony of Adam Suzbin, acting Undersecretary for Treasury for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence. The part the meme gets right, though, is that the deal didn't get congressional approval. The Obama administration had maintained that the agreement wasn't a treaty, which would have required approval by the Senate. Republicans did try to block the deal, but they weren't able to get enough support to pass legislation in the Senate. However, the U.S. is now no longer part of the deal anyhow, as Trump pulled out in May. So a lot of the money that was returned was a seized asset, was seized assets of Iranians' money, So we'd seized money of theirs, and we basically gave it back. It was their money. So I'm not an advocate for that. I'm not an advocate for stealing. Greg Jones says, do fish have a political party? The world may never know. I know that a lot of people show up to my channel and they go, I can't believe that you're talking about politics on a day like Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And I know Greg is from the UK, I believe. I believe Greg's from the UK. You might not know that today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day here in the United States. Martin Luther King is probably one of the biggest civil rights leader of all time. And people may or may not want to know where I fall on topics. You might want to know. You might not want to know. It might not be, I don't know. I'm doing the live show that I'm doing. I'm talking about the things that I want to talk about. Nobody has asked a single question about fish today. Somebody mentioned doing water changes with their respirator on, which they retracted the comment. I think Johnny B. Good did. But, I did open the show talking about Martin Luther King Jr., but today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It's a national holiday in the United States. So it's a lot of what we're talking about. Aqua Blue Bear says, one of my guppies is doing a poo almost as big as it is. As big as it is. As big as it is. Sometimes guppies doing some strong poops. If you are slightly concerned about it, you could always feed him some frozen peas. That helps get some moving. Get some moving. Fish Tropic says, today is dig your car out from under 4 to 5 feet of snow day. Yeah, understandable. That's what's going on over the mountains. It's not happening on this side right now, thankfully. It's actually kind of sunny and nice out today. It actually wasn't too bad. We were supposed to go look at a property that had a giant barn on it and a house. The giant barn would be converted into the new fish studio, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it. I guess we'll get a name for it at some point. Oh my God, somebody's commenting. Oh my God, new local Austin became a freaking patronizer today. Oh my God. Oh my God, I thought I would never have seen the day. I just got a notification. The new local Austin has become a patron at the $1 level, which, by the way, hey, I always think it's kind of wild when people go over the $1 level, because I was always like, yeah, I think people should be able to sponsor stuff at a $1 level. Because it's like, if you're going to sponsor like 20 things that you really like, you can't be at like $20, right? Because it's crazy, which is what's happening with like Netflix and like Netflix and HBO and Disney Plus and all this stuff is starting to add up. So I was always like kind of the advocate of the $1 thing, but I'm always appreciative of the people at the higher level. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. The reason I say that is it's a multifaceted reason why we bring up when people become sponsors of the channel around here, right, Vicky? Vicky just appeared in the back. Look out. She's behind the camera. What's she doing? Oh, my God, she's pointing. It's a multifaceted reason. If I bring it up, it actually, like, it plants the seed in somebody's head that's like, man, maybe, you know what? Maybe I should become a sponsor of the channel. A. But B, I like to give a shout out to you guys so you, like, literally know, I know, and I say thank you, and I very much appreciate it. I feel like to get all that out there. But it's multifaceted. I got to admit, there is a selfish reason for doing it, is because somebody would be like, oh, man, you know what? I want to sponsor that. What's Mary Page's, like, she just commented on something old. The Guppy Championships video. Yeah, man, I want to go back to the Guppy Championships. That would be so much fun. That was one of my favorite things to stop at. To have gone to, like Chris Lukup took us out there. I did get to drive on the Autobahn at like decent speed. We'll put it that way. Kilometers were expounded upon, I guess. We went past certain kilometers to other kilometers. It was really cool. We basically only got to spend a day in what is that country? Austria, right? Austria? Am I saying that right? And it would have been cooler to spend more time there. but we had to get to Hungary. We had to get to Hungary so we could go to Green Aqua. But we did stop by the Guppy World Championships. It was really cool, and I would love to go back to that. And I would think about exporting some fish this time around if I went back. It didn't seem like a good idea at the time, but I would think about it. I think knowing like what was there and what would be available going back, I think I would probably do a little pre-prep to be ready to hopefully buy some fish and send them out and have them land back home with somebody to take care of them. Because I know at this point we could have them land here. Like, even if I sent them out early enough that they would get back, like, even if they landed here before I could get back to get them, that we could probably get them picked up and put into some quarantine tanks in the meantime. So I would love to go back out to that. It was super cool. Fun to talk to, people from other countries. I love it. I love talking to people from other countries. Kilometers. Yes, kilometers. Can't forget to represent the bug and algae community. Oh, that's a good point. I'm not sure. It's pretty clear that ants are strong socialists, There's very few authoritarian type bugs. Praying mantises seem to be one, although they are like authoritarian matriarchy. But it seems to me most of the bug communities out there are strong socialists. Not a whole lot of social democracy going on. But it does seem with the bee community, the bee community is sort of a matriarchally operated social democracy, whereas they've learned, that bees can actually give directions and explanations to each other via their communicative dances. And I would love to be able to just quick link you that study that was done, but they basically had an island out in the middle of the water, so the bees couldn't fly anywhere else because there was an island middle of the water. And they would label the bees with paint. They would set a hive, and then there's two operable new hives where they could move to. And then as they would come back, they document how they communicated what they found. So it's very interesting, but I wish I had like a real easy way to like throw that out there. I wish I had like a hot link for it. I could be like, go watch this. It's a totally cool documentary of some science stuff. Can't forget about the detritus eater community. Very underrepresented. Well, I would say most of the detritus eating community is probably like blue collar workers like me. I think that's probably like where a lot of those guys, where a lot of the detritus eaters would last. Yeah. Or end up. I mean, last was where they would end up. I think realistically, if we were trying to put them in there, I think they would probably fall more into the hillbilly class, which, by the way, are traditionally super left leaning, right? Hillbillies in the United States get thrown in with rednecks, which is a different group. It's a different group altogether. But hillbillies are super left-leaning, Big D Smoke says it's the parents' job to teach kids manners. No forced military in school. No, I don't think that there should be forced military, but I think there should be, and I've talked about this before. I wonder if I actually have media files. Where is this? I think I've got it in here somewhere. Let me scroll through my media files. I think I've got it in here. Where is it? Oh, I thought I'd be able to find it pretty quickly. And it looks like I'm not finding. Oh, here it is. There you go. Here we go. the United States Civilian Conservation Corps. The Conservation Corps, I think, is something that we should bring back 100%. And I think we should expand it. I've talked about this before, expanding the post office and blah, 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 and all that stuff. I could always run into it if people want to talk about it. But I think that we should bring this back as a branch, as a separate branch of the military, in order to keep it funded properly, so that it can continue operating. And it should, it should be considered a service, and in the fact of, like, people are doing work and they should get training and they should be moving up. And people have talked about, like, Job Corps and all that kind of stuff, but realistically, those places weren't a functioning thing. A lot of them were relying on donations and this kind of stuff and everything like that. But it really wasn't providing a good living while people were working to do it. I think the Conservation Corps is something that should be brought back. FDR thing. We don't need it. We don't need space military. We don't need that. Maybe someday we do need space military. We certainly don't now. And I think realistically we should do the Conservation Corps, get people trained, and then, if we ever do need the Space Marines, like in Starship Troopers, we'll have a group of people that are willing, probably willing to sign up, and they have good skills, and they're ready to go and go do stuff on Mars, right? Or whatever. Big D Smoke is in a poker tournament. He keeps getting 9-2, 10-6 off, 7-2, 2-3. Yeah, I mean, if you're in an online poker tournament, stick to the strong 10 starting hands, and don't really be playing those junk hands. It's just online's not gonna work well for you, because normally people playing in online poker tournaments are probably playing like 10 other tournaments all at the same time, and they're only ever gonna push chips into the pot when they have a good starting hand. So they're just gonna muck all their cards, and you're just gonna sit there and go up against somebody who's got ace king or something, and generally lose, statistically speaking. In real life poker tournaments, pick your spot. You got to double up early. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, it's probably sounds like wizard speak, but like in a poker tournament, you start out with X amount of chips. If you're in-person tournaments, you must take that stack of chips and double it up quickly, which means you're going to have to knock somebody else out of the tournament. So pick your spot and go all in early. Hopefully you get a good starting hand, or somebody lets you get to see a flop for free. But yeah, pick your spot early in a live tournament, double up, and then you can start to play differently after that. But if you're in a in-person tournament, double up early, or just get knocked out and lose your $35 or $50 or whatever and get it over with. Lumpy Dog says, not that science stuff. That's all just theory. LOL. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Adam Wing says, feed your local bees and stay away from nursery flowers from big box stores. They spray them for insects, which can harm bee communities. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad advice, I guess. But a lot of people don't have access to getting flowers and stuff like that from other places. So I just would encourage people to plant flowers and things like that and go get into it, as opposed to not getting into it. Mumpy Dog says, playing tight online pays off. In person, playing tight will be blinded out. Yep, exactly. That is the one sentence thing that would have explained what I was talking about for what felt like 3 hours. Lorcam Towing. Hey, Joel, could you do a live one day showing us your scapes? No, I can't. I think you've asked about that before. I'm probably not going to do a live show doing from my fish room. First off, it's like it's too loud in there. We tried it one day. I did a live stream from my fish room one day. The 3 takeaways: it's too loud in there, and I have no methodology of plugging in a microphone to operate properly while live streaming from a phone. Okay. It just doesn't work. I can't. For the life of me, I haven't figured out how to make it work. Maybe there's a workaround out there, and somebody's like, "Hey, here's the $2,000. Here's the $2,000 setup that you can. I don't have it. And I'm not gonna buy it. I did have Ethernet wire run out to the fish room because my plan was to put a computer out there that I could live stream from out there. Now, that didn't work out because the building is in such disarray out there that I couldn't get anything to continue to operate properly electronic-wise in that building. It's just things are getting too dusty, things are getting too wet, things are, getting too hot, getting too cold. It's chaos. So I never really could get that to function properly. And then Vicky was digging in the backyard and dug the Ethernet line up. So everything's wireless now. And then a lot of people got pissed that I was just broadcasting from the fish room because my computer was broken, which was the reason that I did it from out there, because my computer was broken and I couldn't live stream from my office. So a lot of people, that was kind of the pushback that I got, was just like, this just is not good, and people didn't like it. So, it's just probably not going to happen, realistically. In fish plant news and stuff like that, I did get some new plants in. I posted on the community tab, and it seems like a lot of people noticed that. It seemed to have got a fair bit of commentary on it. Where did it go? Where's my comments? Where'd they go? Mentions? What the hell is this? Comments. Just everything. Just all the comments. Here we go. People were wondering what that plant was. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. Zris or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it. I haven't been able to find out a proper pronunciation of it. Spelt like that. It's a very interesting little plant. Got some in the other day. We're going to see how it grows. Got some good comments from people that are like, you better put some root tabs in there. Which I do have some. I have some Aquarium co-op root tabs. I'll throw in there and see how they do. So that's some new plant news that we got going. Also, some of the other plants I got in about a month ago have actually been doing pretty well. They've adapted to my systems. I'll probably be throwing those into some testing tanks fairly sooner than later. We'll see how those go. But yeah, that's just kind of that basic stuff. We've been, like I said, we've been out here trying to buy some properties. We were supposed to go out and be touring a property that, like I said, had a big barn and all that kind of stuff. Literally, I think it got posted on Friday. It already has sold. It already has accepted an offer or has an offer pending or whatever. They've accepted an offer on that property already. So we scheduled to go look at it on Sunday. To go look at it today, and in that time it got an offer on it. Yeah. Alyssa says, geez, like my fish basement is freaking loud. A vid of a fish room really needs to be filmed and then have a voiceover or soothing music over it. Yep. I don't think people realize how quiet things need to be on set. You know what I mean? I have specific microphone in here so that Vicky's doing laundry in the background and you guys can't hear it at all. So it's not a big deal. But there's a wall and a door in between. So
And
What?
Rambling.
What are you doing over there?
Senseless rambling.
Are you rambling?
Yes.
You'd be all like, Lord, I was born a rambling woman.
Yeah. And see, they can't even
Yeah.
hear me talking.
They can't hear you talking? Talk.
Talk.
Probably not. You're not being picked up by the mic, so probably not.
See? See how good that works?
Oh, you're getting picked up a little bit.
Oh.
They'll be able to hear you in the background, like way off in the distance. People with headphones on can hear you,
Oh.
probably.
Like, surprises! Then they can hear me.
That was so loud, I almost died. I almost died Olivia style when she
You
screams.
used to do that all the time. Out of nowhere. You used to say that all the time.
Well, you know, it's not 2019 or whatever. I don't know when that was.
It's a while ago.
I stopped saying it whenever I went to conventions and people would just scream surprises at me in person.
Yeah.
And I realized, like, oh, this is a really weird exchange that I don't want to continue having with people in public. That's why.
Well, at least it wasn't like coughing. You would cough at people.
There was the coughing of however many years ago. People screaming at me and getting spittle all over me.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would get what people would call the convention crud, you know, because when you go traveling around, you catch viruses and stuff. Because you got all those people just gabbing it up in an old convention center, you know. Uh-oh, Brian Maramba says, hey, do you have Caridina shrimp? If so, what are your parameters and how do you do water changes? Do I have Caridina shrimp? Yes, I do. What are my water parameters? 6.8, 68-ish degrees, 70 degrees. Pretty basic. CO2, and I do water changes with water.
With water?
Yep.
Not with bubble solution?
Bubble solution? No. No, I don't do roadie or any of that kind of crazy stuff. And yeah, does it initially mean some of my Caridina shrimp die when I import them? Yep. But a lot of them will survive, and guess what they do? They'll end up breeding once they grow up and get big, and then they get impregnated, then they get buried with eggs, then they give birth to little tiny shrimpers, and then the little tiny shrimpies grow up. Yeah, I have Neo-Caridinas. Like, I have mostly just painted fires. As far as Caridina shrimp, I got black. I have blacks, and I have reds, and I have some, like, flower crystals, you know? So they're, like, basically all white with just, like, a little bit of red on them. So I have some difficult ones and some easy ones and stuff like that and everything kind of in between. But I don't subscribe to the idea that most things need to live in some kind of crazy water setup. Like if you have Sulawesi shrimp, that's sort of a different vibe altogether. But you know, like as Alyssa says, my water is super soft. I do have soft water here. So it's not that big of a deal. But you know, if we do locate somewhere else, if we do locate somewhere else, I probably might have to institute water softeners or RODI or something like that. But I do have pretty clean water here, so I don't have to worry about it as much. The water here varies throughout the year, though. I do check it from time to time to see what's going on, but it's never so far out of the realm that I really have to worry about it, except for at specific periods of the year, which is not right now. So, but yeah. You know, a lot of times people are really way overthinking it. The most important thing that you can do with any breeding environment, for whether it be shrimp, whether it be fish, whether it be, I don't know, fish or shrimp. There we go. Yeah, that's probably plenty. What you really want to focus on is making sure that you have a healthy environment, the proper amount of food, and a stable, healthy environment, right? Most things can do fairly well at a fairly neutral pH, right? A lot of people out there going crazy, moving their pH around, doing all this kind of goofy stuff. I don't recommend that. I recommend stability over, dramatic swings with your pH and all that kind of stuff. So if you have stability, if you have good plants growing in there, most everything is going to be surviving pretty well. I use Rhodey to cut my hard well water. 50% gets me happy critters and good GHKH for what I keep. Yep. I mean, if you have super hard water, you probably won't have to do too much other than 50-50 in order to get it to a real kind of stable mix, realistically. Sounds like you're using distilled water and drip it back over a couple of days, but my water in Montana is liquid rock. Yeah, so I mean, basically what I would do, this is one of the only times that I would say a TDS meter would come in handy, is just on the basis of a water change if you are looking to match the TDS from tank to tank. So let's say the TDS out of your tap is 300, you're wanting to keep the tank at 60, right? You could kind of match-ish what's going on with the TDS meter. I really don't think it's I don't necessarily think it's like a great way to go about it, but other than doing the drip situation like you have now, it's probably the best way to accommodate figuring out what mix you need. I have ADA Malaya, and my water is like 5.5. Wow, I would say 5.5 is just way too low. Just from the basis that 5.5 is going to be incredibly difficult to maintain. Slight changes in the water will send it right back up to 7. And that can be a dramatic change for anybody in the water, even fish. Fish will handle it a lot better than shrimp will. But I want stable water. That's what I want. I want a tank that is rock solid. That's what I want. I don't want a bunch of stuff, looking like our analytics chart over here with people watching and people not watching. I don't want it doing this. I want it doing this throughout the whole day and night. When the lights come on, lights come off, I want stability. So, a lot of times I'll be running CO2 24 hours a day because of that, just to try and keep things nice and chilling. But if I wanted like really acidic shrimp, I think the lowest I would even bother to go is like 6.2. I don't think I would drop below 6s, just because of the fact that like you're maintaining a shrimp line that is incredibly difficult to maintain with acidity like that low. So I just really wouldn't be doing that personally. It's your choice. It's your choice if you want to continue doing stuff that way. I personally wouldn't though. And I wouldn't expect a lot of success out of that either. Let's see. Air pumps, filters pouring, mini fridge humming, the central heater furnace for the house, the dehumidifier. Yeah, there's just a lot going on in a fish room as far as the noise goes. And I really, like I said, everybody kind of has to do a lot of work as far as maintaining good audio. And the fish room is just not conducive to that. There's a lot of hard surfaces, sounds bouncing off of it, the dehumidifier turning on and off every once in a while, gurgling from this, a gurgling from that, a little bit of noise from the water going up and down out of the tanks. It all adds up to being a pretty noisy environment. It really is. I do believe in the next location, though, I'm probably going to be doing a little bit of sound design in the fish room, so that at the very least, one of the things I'll be able to do is just turn everything off and then turn everything back on. I didn't do a lot of that in this fish room because, well, just the constraints in the time frame and the ability that I had to work on things. If people remember, when I started building out this fish room here, I cut my thumb off. I don't know if you guys remember that. Well, I guess a better description would be like this whole part of the thumb was gone. I need like a... Oh my God, I need a piece of paper that doesn't have anything. Oh, here we go. So, like, this whole part of my thumb, something like that. More. I think it was more. It was like back here. All of this was gone. Like, all of over to there. I don't know. It's hard to explain because a lot of it's grown back. But a whole bunch of my thumb got cut off. So I basically was a one-hand wonder trying to do construction at the same time, building ceilings, hanging drywall, doing all that kind of stuff, doing the electrical and everything. Because at the time, I was just running my chop saw, cutting chunks of wood to put into the fire, which is not out there anymore. I uninstalled it. I got rid of it. But we had this little fireplace deal, which was the only heat I had out there. So I was cutting all these like old 2x4s and chunks of wood that I had, and I'm wearing the chop saw like this. I picked it up. I moved a board to go bunk. The boards all got stopped up, and it kicked up, and my thumb went into the saw blade. So the saw blade was right here, and then I pulled my thumb out like that, and the saw blade eradicated all of that out. And so I was working like one-handed, and so I had this giant like thing on my hand, and it was pretty. The things were going slowly because I wasn't able to get a lot of the stuff done, and we did hire a buddy that came to help out. And I did get a little bit of help here and there, but it literally was like, all the stuff that I wanted to do was just, I need to get this done. We need to get moved in. And it became that. Like, it just became I need to get everything moved in here. And then it just kind of became what it is now. I've obviously worked on it a bunch, but a lot of the stuff that I want to do in the next incarnation is the next... In the next incarnation, things are going to be like dramatically different. I'm going to automate all the water changes. Everything will be on electrical timers, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be definitely different. I'm definitely going to do a lot of the sound design. I'm going to do a lot of the sound design and have the space a lot more amenable to like, having filming in there and doing all that kind of stuff. And realistically, at the time before, we were just kind of like on the cusp of, we've got just enough money to try and buy a house. We didn't have surplus of anything to, do a lot of the things the way that we wanted to do them. I wouldn't say we have a surplus or anything like that now, but we're in a much better position of going like, well, we're going to try and find a property that has a lot of what we want and see where we can go from there. So, it just, I don't know. It's just like, it's just the story of what happened, I guess. And I just think there's no way I'm going to do it the exact way I did it before. So, hi, I'm super excited. I just got a good deal on a Facebook Marketplace for a FX4 for my 90-gallon community tank. Rosie, that sounds good. I'd be super excited for that too, 100%. The photo is the best thing you get from a gross wound. That's true. Jeremy, sweet Jesus, he's a crayfish growing new limbs. Yep. So when I went into surgery on my thumb, they were like, look, there's not much that we can do. We're just going to suture this tendon back in, and then we just got to cover it up. And then so they had a hand surgeon come by after that. So this is like, so the hand surgeon that I had initially was the one that sutured the tendon back in and some other stuff, which I was totally awake for. I was just sitting there while they were like plunking around, and it was pretty gross. So then, they had a specific hand surgeon that did something else. I don't know what their qualifications are, but it was like, this is the person that's going to mess with you later. So she came in and she goes, oh, wow, cool. She goes, I'm probably going to see you in a couple of months when you have me come, and I'll take your fingernail, I'll take your thumbnail off, and basically she was the surgeon that was going to cut all the things out to make it like functional better later on. And I told her that you're not going to see me. You're not going to see me for that. And she was like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool." So a couple months later, they remembered who I was. They came over and were like, "Oh," and she said, "Oh crap, you're the guy that it did grow back." And I said, "Yep." Oh God, I'm coughing. Yeah, but I've got a cold now, so I guess the what do you call it? I guess the joke's on me. Yeah. Alyssa says, I'm just like, ew. Yeah. Gonna try this Mediterranean roasted chicken with lemony broccoli for lunch. That sounds good. That sounds good. I had leftover Mexican for lunch. It was good. It was good. Not disappointed in my leftover Mexican food. It's quite good. Aussie Aquatic says, I'm impressed your thumb grew back. Me too. I was actually pleasantly surprised. It's really weird looking though. If you could see it in person, maybe I'll do an up close picture of it. But the other day, you could see this right here. There's like a big, hold on, let me put it in front of my eye. See if it can't focus. It won't focus. Focus on my thumb. Camera won't do it. I was drilling screws in over at work, building out some of the store, and drill bit slipped off and just went right into my thumb because I was like up on a ladder holding this board in, and I was holding it like this and drilling this direction, and it just slipped off and went boink right into my thumb, which was annoying. It was so annoying because it was just a blunt square drive bit. I was like, oh my God, it went right into my thumb. But yeah, it's okay. Kate Hartley says, I can't believe you're still sick. I have a different sickness. A couple weeks ago, they think I had COVID, but I tested negative the whole time. But I had the exact Omicron for vaccinated people symptoms. Like I had the sore throat and stuff. And then that went away. I got better. Olivia went back to daycare. She went back to daycare for 3 days, came home, was coughing after a couple of days of being in daycare. 4 days. She was in for 4 days, came home with a cough, and then I caught that cough. And Vicky has this one too. So, but yeah, we have a kid that goes to daycare. It sucks. I don't know what else to do at this point other than hire like a personal caretaker or something. But I can't afford that. We pay the maximum amount that we can pay for daycare, and it is like $1,300 a month. And to have an au pair, I guess, is what fancy people call them. Which I'm not. I mean, if somebody wants to give me $100 million so I can become a fancy person, sure, I guess. But I'm not a fancy person. They call them an au pair. You know, like the Trumps call them an au pair. You know, because they want to be French or whatever. That costs like $4,000 a month or something like that. I don't know. I can't afford that. Clown launchers are cool. They get big though. Yeah, that's true. They do. Yeah. But they need like a really big environment to do that. I don't know that they'll ever get that 12-inch big in a tank, you know? I don't think they will, but maybe. You would need like a really big tank. Because I know those giant ones that I've seen come from a big pond that they were raised in. Aussie Aquatic says, Girl Talks Fish has a cool video on clown lunches that I might be in. Ah, cool. Uh-oh, Alyssa's got to go for a walk. Not bad. Actually, I'd like to go for a walk today. Let's see if we'll wrap up the show here in time to go for a walk with Vicky. It would be nice. Yeah. Okay. Well, we didn't have any super chats, but we do have a new patron. No new members today, but we do have a new Patreon over on patreon.com. Oh my God, should I share out the link for Patreon? Okay, I'll do that. Copy. Everyone become a patron today so that I can make YouTube content full time. We're still not at the number. Oh my God, that reminds me, I forgot to change the number. Oh my God, our patrons have gone up. For the first time in 100 years, our patron number has gone up to 144. Somebody asked me a while ago, what's it going to take for me to do YouTube content full time? And 1,000 between these. 1,000 members and patrons. That's just basically what it's got to be. If I can do YouTube full time, that's basically what it's got to take. Whether it's people at $1 or $5 or whatever it is, I need 1,000 people that are willing to support this project, and then we'll do it. I got mine at 2 inches, and 3 years later, they're about 5 inches. I have mine in 2,700 gallons. Yeah, the 2,700 gallons is probably big enough. I would imagine. Yep. Yeah, I know a doula, and they make bank. Yeah, Kate, they do. They make tons of bank. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like you think if somebody comes out for $20-25 an hour, 40 hours a week, it's close to $1,000, and then you got to pay taxes, and then you got to pay taxes on their labor, right? Because once you have somebody working for you 40 hours a week, they're your employee basically. So you got to pay all that. So it's easily $4,000 a month, whether you like it or not. That's just what it's going to be. This last year, I made like $50,000, 56 or something. I'm going to finalize my taxes here in a little bit, but I made like 56 last year, which is down from the year before. That's for 100% for sure. This pandemic has been good for some people. It hasn't been that great for me. Definitely numbers are down on my end of income and stuff like that. But I would basically be trading all the money I make for somebody to watch my daughter. And if you get to that point, I would just not go to work if that was going to be the case. You know what I mean? If it was going to be $50,000 a year for somebody to watch my daughter 5 days a week, I would just watch my daughter 5 days a week. You understand? You understand the trade there? If that's what it was going to cost, that I would just stay home. And yeah, I mean, that's what I would do because my health insurance is through Vicky's employment. So, I would be the one that stays home. If Olivia didn't have daycare, or if Olivia didn't have health care and stuff like that, I would be depriving my daughter of something that's really important. So definitely Vicky would be the worker, and I would be the caretaker. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're at the point now where I'm just going to keep feeling like I have a catch in my throat and coughing and stuff. But we definitely we shared out the patron, right? We shared out the patron, and everybody's going to go sign up for it later. They're going to be like, I want to chip this guy $1 a month because I want him to be able to make videos full time. Because I do. Want to make videos full time. But that's where we're at. Or you can become a YouTube member if you want. And that's where we're at. Yep. So that's kind of where chat's at. That's where we're at. So we're just going to call it a day here. All right. Love you guys. Hope you're having a fantastic Martin Luther King Jr. Day. That's today. Buy a book. Go read a book. Come on, man. Come on, man. Kate Harley with a $10 Canadian super chat will bring me back for a minute. Thank you very much, Kate. I 100% appreciate it. You know what? This is a bonus. This is bonus section. Hold on, we got to put in bonus. Do we? Hold on. Where's the text? Text. It's around here somewhere. What does this one say? Oh, this one says the wrong thing. Bonus with exclamation marks. There we go. Then we can turn it on. And we can make it big. Oh my God, is that the biggest we can make it? Let's make the font bigger. Oh my God. This is the bonus material. This is the bonus material where we hang out and make bonus signs. Oh, do I literally have to like just click it a bunch? All right, let's go like this. 140 pixels. There we go. Bonus! We should change the color. Oh my God, I don't like this color at all. Yellow? Green? Oh my God, super green. Corbin Dallas, super green. You know what I'm talking about? Did you guys ever see that movie? I hope you guys did. It's a good movie. I would watch that movie. If you don't know what movie I'm talking about, it's called The Fifth Element. It features Bryce Willis, Mila Jovovich, and what's his name? Oh my God, why is this not working right? All right, we're going to get rid of this thing. This is the worst. I tried to make a bonus thing, and it's just doing this. Why is it doing this? Oh my God. Oh my God, guys. The bonus material is just the worst. Oh, here we go. It seems to be working now. If I make it smaller, it'll just be over there. Am I on the right or am I on the left? Who knows? But yeah, the Fifth Element, I think, was honestly like a fantastic film. I really do. I really think that it was fantastically done. I think it was really depressing to me that they never came out with a Fifth Element Part 2. I think there was a lot of opportunity there to expand on the lore, as it were, you know, with the lore and whatnot. There was a lot around there that could have, you know, they could have expanded on. They really could have expanded on it a lot. And there was very much like there was a lot of interesting stuff going on within the society and all the city and all the kind of crazy stuff going on that I think you could have easily made a part 2 that could have been as good. But sometimes you catch fire in a bottle and it's like you just think maybe let's not go back. And maybe that's what they were thinking. That's what they could have been thinking. It's what they could have been thinking. Oh my God, Lady Guinevere's here. Why isn't Lady Guinevere calling and telling me about why the Fifth Element doesn't suck? You should be calling me right now. Let's call Lady Guinevere and see if she'll come on. Let's see if we can find her here. I wonder if she's my friend. Gosh, maybe she isn't my friend. Where's my friends? Lady. Oh my God, Lady Guinevere is not my friend. All right, we'll have to find her over here. Let's see if we could find her. If you guys are on add friend. I'm going to call her. There we go. Hey. I wonder if she's going to answer. She's probably not going to answer. I wouldn't answer if I was me. Wait, I am me. I'm me and I'm calling. Hello? Oh, I think she's muted or something.
Hold on.
Hey, what are you doing?
Can we hear?
Yeah. Oh my God, I think you're loud.
Oh my God, hold on a second. Can we hear now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Something was weird. Something weird was going on. Okay, I got to ask you, The Fifth Element, you've seen it, right?
I think so. You'll have. Which one is that?
That's the one that's got it's got Bruce Willis and Mila Jovovich and Chris Tucker, and it's like it's set in the future, and then they got to save the world from the bad guys. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? There's bad guys, and they got to save the world from the bad guys.
That's a lot of movies.
Ah, crap. I guess it is. It's kind of they've run the trope far too many times. We got to save the planet, right?
I'm not sure if I'm thinking of the right movie. I have to look at this.
And now you got to look.
Yeah, the girl with the orange hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Mila Jovovich. I'm saying her name
Okay.
wrong on purpose. You remember of Resident Evil fame?
Yeah.
I think she was in the video game initially as the zombie vampire, and then they recast her as the heroine after that.
Interesting.
I think. Not 100%. A lot of the stuff going on in Raccoon City is very, very mysterious, as we know.
So yes, what's going on with the Fifth Element? What's the?
Well, I was thinking that it was a good candidate for a number 2. You know, like you could have made a number 2, because there was a lot there to expand upon as far as the world and what was going on around there.
Probably. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Oh. Well, that's a bummer, man. I figured here for the bonus material, you would have been just like right on top of it.
No. I don't watch a lot of movies right now.
This is an old movie. It's been out for 20 years. Like, you don't have to have watched it right now. You just have known it.
That's why I haven't seen it in forever, though. It's been out for 20 years.
That's the worst. Paula Kreinberg says Fifth Element is one of my favorite movies. Art direction and costume design, best thing Chris Tucker ever did. Which is saying something, because he was in the Jackie Chan movies.
See, I never saw any of those either.
The Jackie Chan movies?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm uncultured.
I got it. I'm putting on my glasses now. I can't deal with this anymore. My future's too bright, guys. Well, I appreciate you accepting the call and coming on for the bonus material, even though we couldn't come to fruition on a whether or not there should have been a Fifth Element Part 2 or not.
Sorry I couldn't be more help.
That's a bummer, man. Just trying to call a Sparky and be like, hey, what do you think? And it's
Fifth
like,
Element
I don't
Part
know.
2, guys.
I don't know.
Coming
That
soon.
thing should be in 3-phase and we're all going to get burned. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Is that the high leg? I don't know. Let's plug it in and find out. Yeah. Anyhow, well, have a good time out there. Don't get burnicuted or anything, you know.
I will not. I'll do my best anyway.
Okay. Wear your PPE and be smart.
Oh, yes, I will.
Yeah. Don't go blind. That would be bad. You
I
wouldn't be able
won't
to
do
watch
that
The Fifth
either.
Element.
I will rewatch Fifth Element, and then maybe next week.
Okay, next week I'll call you back. All right. Have
All
fun.
right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I hung up too fast. She was saying bye. Oh, I'm coughing into the microphone. All right, guys. Thanks for the Kate Hartley. Thank you for the super chat. This has been the bonus material. Oh, I got to turn this off because I'll forget. I got to turn off the bonus material. Oh, look at it. It goes in and out. That's pretty fancy. The bonus material is ending. Joe's wondering how late am I? You're so late you don't even know we're in the bonus material. Suzanne Johnson, is it in book format? Oh my God, I don't know. I got to find out. The Fifth Element book? Let's see. Is there a book? I don't. Oh my God, there's a paperback. $7. $7. You can buy the paperback copy. Here it comes. Control V. Boom. There we go. There we go. There is the book version. Okay. Yeah. That's going to be it for the bonus edition, brought to you by Kate Hartley with the super chat, bringing me back for our bonus segment here. Yeah. All right, I gotta go. Try to go for a walk with Vicky because it's romantic.